What setifi is a node package that helps make field validation easier for developers and help protect the end user from cases of brute force attacks. So setifi is supposed to go with other node packages and frameworks like Nest.js, which is a backend authentication framework. And then after it authenticates the data, it sends it to the database like DB for storage. Now I created setifi with JavaScript and uploaded it to npm, that is Node Package Manager with Node. Now setifi has two main features for this version. Now the first feature is password strength check, and all that does is looks through your password field and it checks how secure or strong it is. And then the second function is field comparison, which is compares two or more fields to see whether the values are equal. Now how it works. For setifi, we have two different main functions. That is the validation and comparison. The validation is a JavaScript function which checks a form field value and determines the level of strength and security. Now, when we request for validation, it returns an error code which is either 1 or 0 in four criteria, which is the length, the numbers in the password, symbols in the password, and whether it is used by many other users. And then for comparison, it also returns two outputs, error codes, which are 1 and 0. 0 is for strong or allowed, accepted, and 1 is error. So now let's run a quick test of setifi. So over here I have a simple script. All it does is it requires index.js, which is the actual package, file, and then with the data it gets, it uses the function, it performs the function which is validate. It also performs the function of compare, and it outputs some variables, some data that is stored inside index.js. So if I run node and then the name of the file, which is test.js, it gives us some outputs. So over here we have a number error code, and that checks whether there's a number in the password. So over here you can see that my password does not have any numbers, so it will return 1 for false. And then for symbol error code, there is no symbol in my password, so it also returns 1, and so on for length and usability. Then for comparison, it takes into the parameters. The parameters are the first and second form, and then what it does is when it checks through the values, it see whether they are equal or not. If it's equal, it returns an error code of if it's equal, it returns an error code of 0, and if it's not equal, it returns 1 for false. And then it also has this compare message, which is also displayed on the console. So now if I change the password, so let's say password and password 1, now these two strings are not the same, so that means I will get 0. Sorry, let me see. Yeah, we'll get 0 instead. That means that the passwords are not equal. So if I run this, password do not match. If I make it equal and run, it returns 0 and it writes fields match. Now, how we can use this in our real world web application. So I created this is what we are going to be creating. So I open this file inside Visual Studio, and then over here is the exact thing we are supposed to be creating, but we're going to make something better than this. This is just only HTML. I don't even think there's CSS in this. there's no CSS in this. So if I run this with live server, so now when this launches inside our browser, we can inspect and open our console to see the output we get. Let me refresh this. So now if I type in the password, let's say my password, and then we enter another password, let's just say Pascal, and I validate, it's going to return the validation error code. The first number in this means the length, and it returns 1 because the length is not above 12 characters, sorry. And then it returns 0 at the usability error code because my password is not usually used. Then 1 here is for number and the other one is for symbol. And then it also returns this string. So it's saying that our password is not strong, it's weak. So now if I type in something longer and then add some numbers and some symbols and I validate this, it's going to return a validation string of 4 zeros and then return very strong. So now over here, we have the actual login form we are going to be creating. Starting for a web login register page, registration page that we are going to. So if I open this, run this in live server, then we also have our SARS, and I've already compiled this, so you don't need to recompile it again. And then in the JavaScript, the index.js, we have some code over here. What this is doing is it imports setifi, and then it uses the validation function and uses compare function over here. And then with the output we get from it, we are going to use it to change the style of our website so that the end user will know that his password is not strong and stuff like that. I click go live, and this starts our web page. So this is what we are going to what I have created. Now you don't need to type. I don't want to type everything out again, so I just pasted it here. So I'll just walk you through installing the package and using Webpack to put it inside one file that we can actually run on the web page. Because if you look over here, we open our body tag and then move to scripts and relink that to, let's see, main.js. that is stored in which file? Folder. And src. So /src/ main.js, and I try to input the field and run it. Let me actually do this. And if I click the sign up button, nothing actually happens because over here the web browser can't run this code. It can't run this code on its own, so we have to use Webpack and put everything in one file. So now I open my Git gist because I've put all my important stuff here. So if I go here, so now our file system is something like this. So now if I want to get our website running, I have to do two things in our command line interface. I have to initialize our npm package, and then I have to install Webpack CLI, and setifi. So I copy this and then I paste it here. And this initializes our package, so you can get our package.json over here. And then over here, I'm going to change the text over here to build, and then change the execution over here to Webpack. Now we have not installed Webpack, so now we are going to install it over here. Copy this and then run, and that's going to install Webpack and then setifi. Okay, so now that's done. we create our configuration for Webpack. So we go to the root directory and create a file called Webpack. Sorry, web dot config dot java.js. And then over here, you're going to specify some things. So I copied from my gift. This is going to be public, so if you want to copy this, you can just head over to my GitHub. And then all this is doing is configuring our Webpack so that when it creates the bundle, it will store it inside our dist folder as main.js. And then if I go to the index.html here too, we have the link already linking to that page. So now if I run npm run, and then the test, the build I wrote over here, over here, so build, it will run Webpack and build everything. And then it returns a successful message. So now if I head over to the web page, refresh this, and then let me put my mail. That's my actual mail. Then I type in my password, and I click sign up. It checks this, that is, password must be unique. So now if I add a number to it, like 1 or 2 or something, if I add a number to it and I click it, it adds password must contain at least 1 number. And now if I add a symbol, it checks this, and it also checks the length, because now whatever is in this password field is above 12 characters. Now over here we have another error message that's depending on the compare. So if I type in something here, it's not equal to this, so if I sign up, it's still going to bring this message. So now I type a password like Pascal, and over here I type in the same password and I click sign up. It brings here failed match. Now all these other ones are crossed because it has no password, it's not above 12 letters, and it does not have the symbol. So if I add that, then it updates this page. So that is our simple login page with setifi. Now to end this, setifi is only in its first version, so in the future we are going to be having different versions, maybe version 2, which will have different features. So if this is going to be helpful for you, head over to my GitHub account and consider using setifi in your next project, to make your work much easier.